Stop for just a moment, because what you are about to hear may speak to a feeling many people over 60 carry quietly but rarely admit. It is the feeling of becoming invisible while you are still alive. Not gone, not useless, not without a story, but slowly overlooked in rooms where you once mattered. Maybe people still greet you, still ask if you need anything, still remember your birthday, still call when there is a problem. But something has changed. They no longer ask what you think with the same seriousness. They no longer wait for your stories with the same patience. They move around you, speak over you, make decisions without you, and treat your silence as if it means you have nothing left inside. This kind of invisibility does not always arrive with cruelty. Sometimes it arrives politely. And that is why it hurts so deeply. There is a painful moment after 60 when you begin to realize the world values speed more than wisdom, noise more than depth, and usefulness more than presence. You may have spent decades building a family, holding a job, solving problems, caring for others, paying bills, making sacrifices, carrying worries no one noticed, and staying strong because people depended on you. Then one day, life changes. The children are grown. Work no longer needs you. Friends become busy, sick, distant, or gone. The home becomes quieter. The phone rings less for conversation and more for requests. And somewhere inside, a question begins to form. If they no longer need me the way they once did, do I still matter? This is the question that must be answered before bitterness answers it for you. Because if you let the world decide your value, it may measure you by things that were never the full truth of who you are. It may measure you by productivity, strength, income, appearance, popularity, or how quickly you can keep up. But a human life is not a machine that loses worth when it slows down. You are not less real because others have become too distracted to notice you. You are not less wise because younger voices speak louder. You are not less valuable because your role has changed. The painful truth is that people may forget to see you. The deeper truth is that you must not forget to see yourself. Many people over 60 feel invisible first inside their own family. This can be the hardest place to feel unseen, because family is where we expect recognition to remain. You may sit at a table while younger people talk about plans that affect everyone, and no one asks for your view. You may offer advice and watch it be dismissed, only for the same advice to be accepted later when someone else says it. You may share a memory, and people smile politely while looking at their phones. You may feel like a photograph on the wall, respected in theory but not truly engaged in the present. They may love you, but love without attention can still feel lonely. This does not mean your family is evil. Many times, they are simply moving fast in a world that trained them to hurry. They are carrying their own worries, screens, schedules, debts, children, and ambitions. But understanding their distractions does not erase your pain. You are allowed to admit that being overlooked hurts. You are allowed to feel the ache of giving so much of your life to people who now seem too busy to ask about the life still happening inside you. Stoic wisdom does not ask you to pretend pain is not real. It asks you to see pain clearly, without allowing it to turn you into someone you are not. The first thing you must understand is that invisibility becomes dangerous when you begin cooperating with it. It begins outside you, but if you are not careful, it starts living inside you. You stop speaking because you assume no one will listen. You stop dressing with care because you think no one notices. You stop learning because you think your best days are finished. You stop sharing your thoughts because you think they are outdated. You stop entering rooms with dignity because you have accepted the idea that you are now only background. This is how invisibility becomes a cage. Other people may have stopped paying attention, but then you hand them the key by disappearing from yourself. Do not do that. Do not abandon yourself simply because others became careless with your presence. Continue to carry yourself like someone whose life still has meaning. Sit upright. Speak calmly. Keep your space clean. Choose clothes that make you feel alive. Walk if you can. Read something that stretches your mind. Learn a new word, a new prayer, a new recipe, a new piece of history, a new skill, a new way to use the time that remains. These things may seem small, but they send a message to your own soul. I am still here. I am still worth caring for. My life is not over just because applause has become quieter. There is also a kind of invisibility that comes from grief. You lose people who remembered you fully. A spouse who knew the young version of you. A friend who remembered your laughter before responsibility made it quieter. A sibling who carried the same childhood map. A coworker who knew your competence. When these people leave, a part of your witness leaves with them. The world may still see your body, but fewer people know the chapters that made you who you are. This can create a strange loneliness. You are surrounded by people who know your name, but not your history. They know your age, but not your battles. They see your wrinkles, but not the storms that carved them. If this is your pain, honor it. Do not call it weakness. To miss being known is human. To grieve the loss of witnesses is natural. But do not let the absence of old witnesses convince you that your story has vanished. Your story still lives in you. It lives in your habits, your values, your scars, your humor, your caution, your tenderness, your strength. You may need to tell it differently now. Write it down. Record your memories. Share one story at a time with someone willing to listen. Do not wait for a perfect audience. Sometimes the act of remembering with dignity is itself an act of resistance against invisibility. Another reason people over 60 feel invisible is that modern life worships youth. Every advertisement says look younger, move faster, stay current, erase age, hide age, fight age. The message is clear. Aging is treated like a problem to manage, not a human season to respect. But this is one of the great mistakes of our time. A culture that cannot honor age becomes shallow. It loses contact with patience, memory, restraint, and long-term thinking. It becomes rich in information but poor in wisdom. When society ignores its elders, the elders suffer, but society suffers too. It cuts itself off from its own roots. Do not let a confused culture define your worth. The lines on your face are not failures. They are proof of whether survived. Your slower pace is not a disgrace. It may be the pace at which life can finally be understood. Your caution is not weakness. It may be the fruit of consequences you have already seen. Your silence is not emptiness. It may be the discipline of someone who no longer needs to speak merely to fill space. Youth has energy, but age has perspective. And perspective is not a small gift. It is the ability to see what once seemed urgent and recognize whether it truly matters. But here is the difficult part. You cannot demand that everyone honor your wisdom. You cannot force people to listen. You cannot make the distracted become present. You cannot make the arrogant become humble. And if you spend your remaining years begging to be seen by people who have chosen not to look, you may lose the peace that age was meant to teach you. Stoicism asks you to separate what is yours from what is not. Their attention is not fully yours to control. Their respect is not fully yours to command. Their recognition is not fully yours to secure. But your dignity is yours. Your choices are yours. Your inner posture is yours. The way you respond to being overlooked is yours. This is where the invisible person becomes powerful. When you stop needing every room to validate you, you begin to recover your freedom. You can speak when your words are useful and remain silent when they would be wasted. You can offer advice once without chasing people to accept it. You can help without becoming a servant. You can love without begging for attention. You can withdraw from places that treat your presence casually. You can build a smaller life that feels truer than the larger life where you were constantly ignored. Being invisible to careless people can become the doorway to becoming visible to yourself. Ask yourself this. Who still sees me clearly? It may not be many people. It may be one old friend, one neighbor, one grandchild, one honest relative, one person at a place of worship, one kind voice at a local shop, one companion who listens without rushing. Do not measure love only by quantity. A few people who truly see you are worth more than a crowd that merely recognizes your face. Invest in those who meet your presence with warmth. Call them. Thank them. Sit with them. Build small rituals. Shared tea. A weekly walk. A Sunday call. A message that says, I was thinking of you. Visibility grows where attention is watered. Also ask yourself, where have I made others invisible? This question is not meant to shame you. It is meant to awaken wisdom. Sometimes the pain we feel can teach us how not to treat others. Have you ignored someone because they were quiet? Have you dismissed a younger person because they lacked experience? Have you stopped asking deep questions because conversations became routine? The cure for invisibility is not only being seen. It is becoming someone who sees. When you give real attention to another human being, you restore dignity in both directions. You remind yourself that presence still has power. If you feel invisible, do not wait passively for life to return you to the center. The center may never look the way it once did. Instead, create new places of meaning. Volunteer where your wisdom can serve without being exploited. Join a group where your presence is chosen, not merely tolerated. Teach a skill. Mentor someone. Plant something. Write something. Visit someone lonelier than you. Become part of a rhythm where you are expected in a healthy way. Sometimes the world grows quiet around you because one chapter has ended, not because the whole book is finished. But a new chapter rarely appears if you keep staring only at the closed one. And be careful with bitterness. Bitterness often begins as injured dignity. It says, they did not see me, so I will stop caring. They did not call, so I will harden my heart. They did not listen, so I will punish them with coldness. At first, bitterness feels like protection. But over time, it becomes another form of invisibility because it hides your warmth, your humor, your tenderness, and your ability to connect. Do not let neglect turn you into a person who no longer offers light. Boundaries are necessary. Coldness is not always necessary. You can protect yourself without becoming empty. You can step back without becoming cruel. You can be selective without becoming bitter. There is a sacred difference between being unnoticed and being worthless. Never confuse the two. A seed underground is unseen, but it is not dead. A root beneath the soil is hidden, but it holds the tree. A lighthouse in fog may not be visible from every shore, but its light still matters to those who need it. Your life may be quieter now, but quiet does not mean meaningless. Some of the most important work of later life happens without applause. Forgiving yourself. Making peace with memory. Blessing the young without controlling them. Becoming patient with your body. Choosing simplicity. Letting go of old pride. Offering kindness without needing to be praised for it. These are not small things. They are the deep work of the soul. If younger people are listening, understand this clearly. The older person in front of you is not a faded object in the room. They are a living library. They contain losses you have not yet imagined, recoveries you have not yet needed, love stories you never saw, mistakes that became wisdom, sacrifices that made your comfort possible, prayers that may have protected you without your knowledge. Do not wait until their chair is empty to wonder what stories they carried. Ask now. Listen now. Put the phone down now. The day may come when you would give anything for one more conversation you once rushed through. And if you are over 60, understand this with equal clarity. Do not make your visibility dependent on those who are still learning how to value what age means. Keep living in a way that honors the years behind you and the time still ahead. You do not have to shout to exist. You do not have to be needed every day to matter. You do not have to keep rescuing everyone to prove love. You do not have to compete with the young to deserve respect. Your task now is not to chase the role you lost. It is to embody the wisdom you earned. Perhaps the painful feeling of invisibility is also an invitation. Maybe life is asking you to stop performing for eyes that were never satisfied. Maybe it is asking you to return to the quiet center of your own being. Maybe it is asking you to find value not in how many people need you, but in how deeply you live the day in front of you. Maybe it is asking you to stop confusing noise with importance. When the crowd stops calling your name, you may finally hear the voice of your own soul. Here at Stoic Beacon, we believe that no person becomes invisible simply because age has changed their place in the world. The world may look away, but wisdom does not disappear. Strength does not disappear. Memory does not disappear. Love does not disappear. Your life is not over because others have become distracted. Your meaning is not cancelled because your calendar is quieter. Your dignity is not waiting for permission from people who may not yet understand the value of what stands before them. So before it is too late, stop shrinking to match the attention others give you. Stop apologizing for moving slower. Stop calling yourself a burden when you are simply human. Stop hiding your thoughts because someone once dismissed them. Stop giving unlimited access to people who only notice you when they need something. Stop measuring your worth by the number of calls, invitations, compliments, or requests you receive. Begin measuring it by the steadiness of your character, the honesty of your heart, the peace of your conscience, and the courage with which you continue to live. There is still time to become visible in the ways that matter. Visible to yourself through self-respect. Visible to the right people through honest connection. Visible to the world through quiet contribution. Visible to God through the sincerity of your heart. You may not be watched by crowds anymore, but your life is still witnessed by something deeper than crowds. Every kind word matters. Every wise boundary matters. Every gentle act matters. Every morning you choose not to surrender to despair matters. One day, someone may remember you not because you were loud, but because you were steady. Not because you demanded attention, but because your presence brought calm. Not because you chased importance, but because you carried dignity when others forgot to honor it. That is a beautiful kind of visibility. It is not the visibility of attention. It is the visibility of character. So if you are over 60 and feel invisible, do not disappear. Do not let neglect write the final meaning of your life. Stand in your own presence. Tend to your body. Guard your mind. Speak with care. Listen deeply. Choose your circle wisely. Share your memories with those worthy of them. Build small routines that remind you that life still flows through your hands. Let the years ahead be quieter, but not empty. Simpler, but not meaningless. Slower, but not defeated. Begin with one small act today. Call someone who deserves your voice. Move one object in your home that reminds you of life. Step outside, even briefly, and let the air touch your face. Write 3 memories your family should know. Say no to one demand that drains you. Say yes to one simple joy that still belongs to you. Visibility is rebuilt through small faithful acts, not dramatic announcements. Each act tells your heart that you have not surrendered. Each act becomes a quiet candle placed against the darkness of being overlooked. And when enough candles gather, even a forgotten room begins to look warm again, and the person inside remembers their own light. Thank you for spending this time with Stoic Beacon. May your heart remember that being overlooked is not the same as being unworthy. May your days become filled with the kind of attention that heals rather than drains. May you find people who truly see you, and may you become even more capable of seeing yourself with mercy, strength, and respect. You are still here. You still matter. And before it is too late, let that truth become the light by which you continue walking.